Siyangena ngempela vele siyabachela zviripachena kumberi tichayenda kamba kwe 2028.
Right, 28 October 2025, and today I've got an interesting update on what has happened after the blockage or the blocking of the various press conferences that have taken place in Harare and in Bulawayo. I'm going to give you the facts, then I'm going to give you my opinions, then I'm going to give you the way forward. We have a serious problem, and the problem is Tendai Biti, Sikhala. Those two guys are big names. Then we've got an even bigger name that is coming through. That is Dubeko. We also have a bigger name in terms of war veterans. What we have is a big mix of big names with no one wanting or able to take leadership. So among all the people who are trying to organize, no one wants to take leadership. The only person that is trying to take leadership right now is going to surprise you. That person is Ibo Mandaza. Ibo Mandaza wants to take the leadership of what is happening, and I'm going to unpack everything for you in the next 10 minutes. So what has happened is that after they were blocked in Harare, in the Bulawayo, the Bulawayo guys were started to mill around, and then the Harare guys went to the office of Agent Zikumbo, who is their lawyer. And on arrival, they were obviously told by agency to sit in a meeting and have a meeting in a boardroom. So they had a meeting in a boardroom. The outcome of that meeting was that each of them were given a chance to speak. And then police arrived and were just about to throw them out. So they went out, and then they announced that they're going to come back with an announcement, but already an announcement was made by Gwisai. So Gwisai has made an announcement that there will be a broad-based movement which is non-elitist. So listen very carefully to what I'm telling you. Non-elitist, broad-based movement. That is what they've announced right now. So let's look at that announcement so that I don't tell you something that is not there. You can go to a site called Citizens Voice Network. You will see everything there. But the biggest problem has arisen, and I'll show you that problem. So at the very end, you will see Gwisai speaking, and let me take you right to that place where he says they are going to announce a movement, a non-elitist, broad-based movement. And then I'll unpack for to you the problems that are happening right now between Tendai Biti and Sikhala. There's going to be a massive problem between these two guys because none of them will want to yield to the other. So let's now look at Gwisai speaking here. So I'm going to take you to Gwisai very quickly. And Gwisai is a socialist.
Fragmented, divided, and silent as the march to dictatorship has gone on for the last 8-10 years. You must understand that this 2030 amendment has not just started now. It started with the removal of the two-term presidential running mate. It started with the removal of things, but I announced here as our way forward. We shall have a broad-based, inclusive, non-elitist constitutional movement to fight for democracy, defend the constitution. Join us, be with us.
So you got it. Listen very carefully when people are talking. Listen very, very carefully. There is a bunch of people in one room who don't agree on anything. We've got different ideologies, and all of them have got big egos. So you've got Tendai Biti. Tendai Biti is totally a guy who believes in capital markets. Sikhala, I don't know what is the ideology. You've got Ibo Mandaza. Ibo Mandaza believes in what we call a national transitional authority, and I'll unpack to you there the problem with Ibo Mandaza. You've got Dubeko. Yeah, you've got Ngari Vume, you've got Agency Gumbo. Agency Gumbo is like a chairman of the whole thing. And then you've got the war veterans. The war veterans, you saw the lady that was sitting right next to Gwisai. So some of these people are totally unknown. You don't know who they are. The only people that are worth talking about is probably Tendai Biti, Job Sikhala, Gwisai. Gwisai, I don't know what is his base, who supports Gwisai, because he's socialist, he's known for socialism. And now we have Ibo Mandaza. Ibo Mandaza wants to lead, he wants to be the leader of the non-transitional authority, a national transitional authority. And they don't want to invite anyone else. So who has ever been invited? Even to say, talk about it, they don't want, they've already formed a group. So Ibo Mandaza has formed a group. And let me show you what he said afterwards.
But then it's not surprising at all. And what's amazing now is the correlation between what happened just after midnight, the arson, the abduction of the security guard, who I'm glad to say he's survived, he's back. But he reports that they arrived about midnight, 2 vehicles. He says it was dark, must have been about 10 people. They bundled him into a vehicle, gagged his mouth, and he didn't see the rest, he just heard the explosions. Clearly a petrol bomb was thrown into the seminar room. That was the main target. It was done by people who know the geography here. And they forgot that because of the harassment we were having over the last 2 years, and including the burning.
Okay, so I want to tell you what happened. Yesterday, Zimbabwe intelligence sent me a message. So guys in Zimbabwe intelligence sent me a message. I want to tell you what they said. So I want you to understand what is happening, the players, and what is the view of the Zimbabwe government. So let me look for you the message from a guy who told me what was going to happen before it happened. So in Zimbabwe intelligence circles, they believe that Job Sikhala was going to stage a bombing. So I'm going to show it to you. I have to cover the number. Right, that was yesterday. Here, Job Sikhala is a terrorist. This message was sent to me yesterday. And I was laughing because this was sent to me at 1836 yesterday. So there's a belief that Job Sikhala was going to stage a bombing. That is what I was sent yesterday. So it says Job Sikhala is nothing short of a terrorist. He has masterminded the bombing of his dilapidated home in St. Mary's, where he does not stay. He has masterminded fake abductions, kidnappings, and he has masterminded murders. Sikhala called himself Wiwa. So you can read this. I'll send it to you. Here, what is the point I'm trying to make? The point I'm trying to make is that these guys, they do not scare the Zimbabwe government. The Zimbabwe government is not afraid of Tendai Biti, Job Sikhala, Mandaza, and whoever else is in this group. They're not afraid of them. They are not afraid of these guys because they know the guys are not going to go for an election. They will never choose a leader. I told you last week. Tendai Biti, Job Sikhala, Ngari Vume, Ibo Mandaza, all these guys, they will never choose a leader. It will never happen because they don't want an election. They want a national transitional election authority. And the person who is currently leading this is Ibo Mandaza. Ibo Mandaza wants to be the leader of the National Transitional Authority or the opposition that leads the National Transitional Authority. So understand carefully that 2030 is about moving the election forward to 2035, which is 10 years. Ibo Mandaza has got a plan for an NTA that lasts 3 years. So there's an alignment between Ibo Mandaza and Mnangagwa on 2030. Ibo Mandaza wants 2030. And I told you guys that this is what is going to happen. Mandaza wants 2030. He wants to go into the NTA. He wants to be on the table. When Mnangagwa says 2030, they don't want him to go into parliament and just do the thing in parliament. They want to be consulted. They want to be part of it. Jonathan Moyo, Ibo Mandaza. These are people who go to Surface Trust. So these are the people who go to Surface Trust. However, to get legitimacy, they went and called Tendai Biti and Job Sikhala. Tendai Biti and Job Sikhala, they've got no home. So if you look at Tendai Biti does not want to declare himself as a leader. He's afraid of being unpopular. He has tested being unpopular. So he doesn't want to declare himself as a leader. Job Sikhala, the same. He's got the National Democratic Working Group, but they will never launch. They will never launch anything. We have approached Job Sikhala, we have approached Tendai Biti, we have approached a bunch of guys. They will never launch because they are afraid of being said they're betraying Nelson Chamisa. So we've covered everyone. We've covered Dubeko. Sorry, Dubeko haven't covered. We've covered Job Sikhala. We've covered Tendai Biti, Ibo Mandaza, Jonathan Moyo. We've covered Agents Gumbo. Ngari Vume has got no political capital. If he tries to lead anything, Ngari Vume, no one is going to follow him ever. His political party has never had the following. Gwisai is like a maverick rebel. He does not have any need or any interest in politics. He likes being a poor person. So he's that kind of guy who likes being a socialist. He got nothing. And he walks around. It makes him proud to walk around with nothing. So what is the problem? The only person with a plan is Ibo Mandaza. That is the only person with a plan. And Zimbabwe intelligence have already told me, as I told you yesterday, guys in intelligence told me that they thought Job Sikhala was going to stage a bombing overnight. And it's here. I'm going to share it with you. They knew and they assumed that he was going to stage a bombing. He's looking for sympathy. So he's looking for sympathy. So this whole group that we have, they have one problem. They don't want election. They don't know how to go to election. They don't know what to do when they go to election. They've got no manifesto. Tendai Biti has got no manifesto. Job Sikhala has got no manifesto. Ibo Mandaza has no manifesto. So if they are approached by Mnangagwa, and Mnangagwa says, let's go to 2030, you are on the table. There's no need for an election. Most of the people in this group are going to accept it. That leaves us with Dubeko and the war veterans. The war veterans want Chiwenga. So if you look at all the war veterans, they want Chiwenga. If every single group of war veterans, they want Chiwenga, they don't know why they want Chiwenga, but they want him. So Chiwenga has boycotted Sona today, which means he is willing to challenge Mnangagwa. And Mnangagwa, it appears to me, Mnangagwa does not want to move without thinking on Chiwenga. So the war veterans are looking. They want to see which side is going to go well. They want to see if the Ibo Mandaza idea is going to work. If they are called to 2030 and they're told to come on the table, they will come. So the war veterans will go on the table. If they're told that Chiwenga will become the president or Chiwenga will have a deal. So you've got a bunch of people that don't want the elections. They are not going to go for an election. They will never win an election. And therefore, that whole group is for ED 2030 or some form of transitional authority. Understand what I'm saying? We've got elections in 2028. They are not preparing for it. They are not ready for it. They are forming a movement, a non-elitist movement. What is a non-elitist movement? A non-elitist movement is a movement without a leader. So there's no leader. They're not going to select a leader. Mark my word, 28 October 2025, they will never select a leader. So that is the problem we have. No one wants to lead in everything that you're seeing, except probably for Chiwenga. Chiwenga is probably going to be the leader of that whole group. This whole group that is forming here. If Chiwenga was to declare, they would then follow. But Chiwenga hasn't declared. So we have a problem. We have a problem that there will be a clash between Biti and Sikhala. These are the two people who are supposed to lead. But then they will yield if Chiwenga was to come out and say, I want to become the leader, and then a transitional authority to be formed, no election in 2028, everyone will be happy. And they will go on the table if they are called by Mnangagwa. So if Mnangagwa says, come, everyone, come, let's talk, these guys will all go and talk, and they'll look for a transitional authority. They'll say, let's have constitutional amendment, let's have reforms. They'll do the Jonathan Moore thing. It doesn't matter how many years, they'll go there. And you've got a whole bunch of people who like it. You've got lawyers, you've got business people, you've got people that don't want instability. They want to keep on making money. They don't care. They want a transitional authority of some sort. This leaves us with Dubeko. Where did Dubeko come in here? It's crazy that Dubeko can join these guys. There's no relationship between Dubeko and these guys. Why am I pinpointing Dubeko? Dubeko is moving around with the guys from Blue Movement. Did you see Young Ostalos here? Did you see Chibaya here? You see, there's none of those. So Dubeko is alone. He's the only person who is here who is not part of this. In terms of capital, Dubeko is got the Chamisa capital. So he's basically the replacement of Chamisa in this work group. But he has not brought with him his people. So he was supposed to bring Ostalos here. He was supposed to bring Chibaya. Then he would have the Chamisa element. So the Chamisa element is missing. Do you see what I'm talking about? So if someone was to declare leadership, it will probably be Dubeko. The question is, will anyone follow Dubeko in this particular setup? So what do we need now? What we need is clarity on where we need to go. It appears to me that the majority of the people want 2030. Let me tell you what I mean. They are afraid to start preparing for elections. If you want to go to the election, you don't go and set up meetings with funny characters that you don't know. You sit in your office, you draw up a manifesto, you draw up a program, and say we're going to the elections. You don't oppose Mnangagwa's 2030 agenda. You are not in ZANU. You are not in parliament. You work on what you can control, which is the elections. The elections are certain. They are there in 2028. Who told you Mnangagwa will be there in 2028? Is Mnangagwa God? So why are you waiting and believing that Mnangagwa is going to be there in 2028? So what is your plan? That is the question I'm asking. And when you do a coalition, you do what is called a National People's Convention. There's a roadmap that was clearly set out. Even Tendai Biti himself has set out the program for a National People's Convention. Igbo Mandaza will never set up a National People's Convention. It will never happen. I have called Igbo here and says, Igbo, come, let's discuss your plan for the NTA. I'm not talking about things I had. I'm talking about things that I'm talking about to the person. And he said, I would rather do it on my own platform. He does not want to do an NTA that involves people. Igbo Mandaza is already got his structure. There's a committee for the NTA that is set up. If you want to do a proper NTA or a proper coalition, you have to do an annual a people's convention, a broad-based people's convention. And they will never announce it because they will argue and fight. That is the reason why you see that Sikhala and Biti by themselves cannot meet. Someone else has to bring them together. It will never happen that Biti and Sikhala will sit down and meet because they've got nothing in common. There's nothing in common between them. Don't forget, there are a lot of other popular people. There's Mahere. There's, as I said, Ostalos has got a lot of young people behind him. You've got Chibaya. Chibaya has got a lot of bears with him. You've got Chamisa. Chamisa has already gone to the United States of America. So what we have is basically where we were yesterday. We are all waiting for Mnangagwa. Mnangagwa is the one who's got the ball right now. So Mnangagwa has got the ball, but no one is marking. No one is marking Mnangagwa. Mnangagwa is going to score a penalty because what you need to tell Mnangagwa is we don't want 2030. We want an election. But where is your plan for the election? We are 3 years away. You can't be talking about don't do 2030 and you don't have a plan for the election. Do people right now see anybody as a potential president? Is anyone out there saying, I want to be president? Of course, except Gambakwe. Is there anyone else who is coming out and say, let's prepare for the election? It appears to me as no one is ready. So someone has to come up and declare leadership. Among this whole group, someone has to come out and declare that I want to be president. We are getting ready. These are our structures. These are our manifesto. Nothing like that is happening at the moment. So all we have here is public posturing, probably looking for funds, And that's it. These guys are not ready to lead. And if this continues, you're going to see that Mnangagwa is going to get away with the 2030. Chiwenga is right now the last line of defense. So listen very carefully to what I'm saying here. If Chiwenga is taken out, everything's gone. Everything's finished. So Chiwenga is the last line of defense among all the people that are opposing Mnangagwa right now. Chiwenga is the last line of defense, but without an election. Still, Chiwenga will not go for an election. You must understand what I'm saying. Chiwenga will go on the table if he's given an opportunity to lead, a clear opportunity to lead. Chiwenga will go for it. And that will be an NTA which is led by Chiwenga with other people under it. That is where these players are. Who have I left out? Who did I leave out? Nothing. Only Gabagwe is for elections. Everybody else is for 2030, 2035. Even if you give them 2050, they will go. As long as they don't have elections. No one is ready for elections. So don't forget what I'm saying to you right now. Let's go in the comments. No, we don't see what you're talking about. You're just one in your house. Goes on Zanda. Just say, I don't see what you're saying. We want to hear you talk about your brother during Sona. Yes, we did give the Sona from Nangaba. It was given. And then it's Zinoshaya. It's Zinoshaya. Zino Zorasham Nyaya Zokudaro Pota Muchidzi Ongora Nyaya Zake. Yes, Munu Kumaswingo anoti idzi. Ukaona munhu anoti idzi. Munhu wekumasvingo. Uyanya wena. Try mumpofu. Ukhulumane nasi Dzoro. And then it's also that forget Gamabo media, you're daydreaming. Chiwenga does not have presidential credential. I'm not saying he's got presidential credential. Let me unpack Chiwenga. Chiwenga is boycotting Mnangagwa like crazy. Chiwenga makes sure that every time there's an important event, he's not there. Why? Because he wants his people to understand that he's no longer under Mnangagwa. Understand clearly. We are waiting for Victoria Falls. I want to see if he's going to be at Saba. So there's Saba right now. I believe that Mnangagwa is going to open that. If not, then we might see one of the other presidents. There is a boycott taking place. Let's see which of the army generals were there today. We do not see. The power was cut. So as Mnangagwa was speaking, the power was cut. So someone is able to do this thing to embarrass Mnangagwa again and again in parliament. All I'm saying to you is none of these people want to go to elections. They will never win an election. Sikhala will never win an election. Biti will never win an election. Ngarivumo will never win an election. Gwisai, Mandaza, Geza, what's the Darawang Matibela? All these guys will never win an election. And you've got the popular guys walking away. That is Dubeko. Dubeko, unfortunately, I don't know how Dubeko got into this whole thing. Mandaza, once his whole team this side, he had the whole group. And then if you go to Bulawai, you will see that we were expecting, and it would have been nice to have Costalos over there, to have Chibaya there, to have Mahere. But you've got Agency Gumbo, you've got the guys who are in parliament. The only thing left is to eventually get convergence on postponing the election. This whole group is going to converge on postponing the elections. And eventually you're only going to be left with the Gambakwe. Chiwenga himself is going to converge on postponing the election, but in another form. So if there is an NTA that he can lead, Chiwenga would agree to a postponement of an election. So instead of ED 2030, we're going to have Chiwenga 2035. That is what is going to happen. Chiwenga has never said he wants elections. He has just said he doesn't want corruption. But given the opportunity to remove Mnangagwa and do reforms, so the basis of this group is reforms. You're going to see Chiwenga coming as the leader of this group. So that means if Chiwenga is fired by Mnangagwa, you become part of this group that you're seeing wandering around without a leader. These guys are like children without a father. So Biti, Sikhala, Ngarivume, Dubeko, war veterans, they're like a father, like a children without a father. Right, I've covered it. It's amazing. It's amazing to watch because I watch from here. You see, I'm not part of anything. So I watch from above and I can see it clearly. And the most important part is that none of them would declare themselves as a leader. None. and none of them will prepare for 2028. It will never happen. So basically, you've got two groups of 2028. The 2030 of Chiwenga and the 2030 of Mnangagwa, because everyone is afraid of security. So what is going to happen is they will go for security, for safety, and the Chiwenga will provide them with cover. So they'll say, we're going to go to Chiwenga, you provide us with cover. The good thing is that there will be transformation and there will be reforms. So for the next 10 years, you're going to have reforms taking place, and Chiwenga will be the leader. That is what I can see happening here. All right, I've covered all the questions. It's amazing. So Gambako 2028, your only hope. We're the only people who want the elections. Everyone else doesn't. Even Sengezo doesn't want the elections. Sengezo, you don't want the election, pass anyway. Even the guys who you see demonstrating and protesting, they don't want the elections. No one wants the elections. Guys, we need to go to elections. So my views are clear. The 2028 election must happen. And everyone must start preparing. But no one wants to prepare. That is where we are. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. I've been working for so long. I'll see you tonight as we talk about the Kulumane. I'm going to be the MP candidate over there. And it's amazing we're going to do so. Thank you very much and a good day to you all. Let's clap hands for Gambakwe. Gambakwe is seeing it all.